You know what it is. You are MPE with Dave and Jay. I'm Jay.
I'm Dave.
That's Dave. And we got my boy Takuma with us.
What up? What up? Good morning.
What up, Takuma? How you doing, man?
What's up, cousin?
Special guest alert.
Yeah,
So happy to have you with us, man. So happy to have you with us. Yeah, man. Hey, life happens. We had a few hiccups already this morning, but everybody's here. We looking good. And it's leg day. Yeah. Let's get it. What you got for us today, Dave?
All right, first off, man, my PE today is prevent excuses, right? We're trying to prevent excuses today.
Say it again. Say it again,
you know
please.
Hey, we're trying to prevent excuses, right? You know, we're getting a little feedback from the viewers, and which is awesome, makes us better. But we're trying to make sure that you can't make any excuses about our workouts, man. Any way we can get it in, we're gonna get it in, right?
Right.
My man Takuma, he's at the crib, right? My man Jay, he's at the gym. I'm at the gym, right? And the thing is, man, we don't have all the equipment necessary to do legs sometimes, and we make excuses and we don't. But I'm gonna show you how we can get it done with what we're given. All right. So the first exercise we're gonna do is it's a hip thrust, right? Me and Jay, we like to call it a love thrust, right? And you'll see why. All right. All right. So what I got here is I got a dumbbell. I'm gonna start with barbell setup, and easiest way of going about doing this. Well, you know what? Let me give you a variant first. Real quick, the folks at home, you're gonna need a bench, all right? You could use a plate, or you could use dumbbells. And for folks at home, easy way to do this workout, man. You can take these dumbbells and put them right here on your hip. And basically, man, just like the name says, man, you're doing a hip thrust, and you're extending all the way up, and you're bringing it down without touching the floor, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna feel this in your glutes primarily, all right? This is a glute workout for you ladies, all right? And this is also good for the men, man. You know what I'm saying? If you know what I mean. So boom, there you go. All right. So when you're doing your barbell workout, all right, easy way of going about doing this, fellas, or ladies, whatever have you, whoever's trying to use the barbell for this workout, you want to situate the barbell on your hip on the ground, and then support with your elbows and just kind of bring up like that. All right. And it's the same workout with the barbell. All right. And make sure that you have something soft that kind of between you and the barbell.
In the bar.
So not put strains on your hip. All right.
Got it. What's our reps at?
All right. So we're going to do a 15, 12, 10, and then drop 8. Of course, with the drop 8, we're going to, right after we do the 10 set, we're going to lower the weight and do it immediately after that 10 rep count. So we're going to do 8. Cool. And you're going to feel that. Trust me, you're going to feel that.
All right, bet. All right. So Dave and Takuma is your set. Dave and Takuma is your set. So I'm so honored to have Takuma here with us, man. You think you know people, right? You're related to them. You talk to them, you kick it with them, and then life is funny because people are ever changing, right? So one thing about Takuma was a few years ago, after he's already got kids and a family and a job, this man decides that he wants to step in the octagon, I think they call it. He started training in MMA. And I thought it was freaking amazing, right? Like I'm a huge MMA fan, but I never could see myself actually stepping in front of somebody in such a way, right? But so I'm honored to have Takuma here with us, talk about jiu-jitsu and MMA fighting. But one question, one thing that I saw come across my feed earlier this week was somebody was having a debate over whether or not Mike Tyson could beat an MMA fighter, right? So it's this whole debate about boxing versus MMA, right? So Takuma, who would you say is the best MMA heavyweight of all time? Who is the best MMA heavyweight?
Heavyweight of all time. Yeah. It's very hard to say who's the best heavyweight of all time. I'd say probably the most skillful would have been the guy named Cain Velasquez.
Cain Velasquez. All right.
Yeah.
Now, Cain, and if we put Cain Velasquez in his prime up against Mike Tyson in his prime, who's taking that fight?
I honestly don't think Mike Tyson would last 1 minute with Cain Velasquez. He has a puncher's chance, but that's usually not good enough.
All right, he has a puncher's chance. Dave, what do you think about that? If you put Mike Tyson in the ring with one of the best MMA fighters, what do you say?
Yeah. Again, I mean, MMA encompasses so many different techniques and skills. Right. So you really can't, I really can't compare the two. You know what I mean? Like that's like a street fight. You know what I mean? Like it's almost similar to a street fight. You know what I mean? Like, no, there's no rules, man. And the thing is, yeah, Mike Tyson was was a specialist. I mean, he wasn't necessarily a boxer; he was a slugger, right? So he had a street fighter kind of tactic in the ring. But yeah, I think MMA hands down always wins, and they have too many weapons at their disposal.
So would both of y'all agree that MMA is how should I put this? It requires I don't know. I would say MMA is better. Just say that. Just to say it simply. Would you say
jack of all trades, master of none type, mentality when it comes to MMA? That's how I see it. I'm not an MMA fighter myself, but that's how I see it.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, go ahead, Takuma.
I wouldn't say better. Better is way too strong. I would say that it's a different sport. You got to remember about two extremes. Boxing is a very niche sport. You only can use your arms. You know what I mean? And you can't hug anybody. You can't take them to the ground. There's so many things you can't do. There's a lot of rules in boxing, and MMA is almost the total opposite. There are no rules. And so because people can do so many different things, you have to be able to combat a lot. So there's a lot more skill in terms of what's needed to be successful. But I mean, if you put an MMA guy in a boxing ring and take away a lot of their weapons, they would have no chance. So it's two different things. You put them on a street, put them in a dark alley, the MMA guy's going to win. But that's just because more tools. But I wouldn't say it's a better sport. I'd just say they're different sports.
Yeah, they're just completely different sports. I feel you on that. So the conversation about so if we use our imagination,
my bad. I thought we were. I'm sorry. I guess I took it left. I thought we were talking about. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I thought we were talking about these guys. Like you were saying, like in a street fight, who would actually dominate. So yeah, all right, cool. I stand correct.
So I mean, if we are talking about in a street fight, and if we do talk about in a street fight, right? And you got Mike Tyson, right, in a street fight against an MMA dude, is Mike Tyson taking that fight? Street fight, no rules.
Well, if you listen to Mike Tyson talks about this himself, and he said he doesn't give his chances very high. He doesn't put his chances. No. He says I couldn't because it's a total different ball game when people can grab you. You know what I mean? Right. If you're just working on strike, and then you can be very explosive, you can be very fast. And Mike Tyson's the best of both of those things. He punches very hard, very fast, and explosive. But if somebody can grab you, it's like trying to put a line in the ocean. It's just your skills are not equipped to that sort of environment. So
I take it back to the times when we
grabbed Tyson. You can't really punch from your back. You know what I mean?
Right. That is that. What you saying, Dave? What are you saying?
No, my bad. I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry. Look, take it back to the days when we used to slap box for fun, right? And when they started, like when guys started instituting the legs, started trying to sweep the leg, trying to sweep your leg in the front. How the level of difficulty, slap boxing, the level of difficulty that it rose to at the time, man, kind of like, it kind of upped the stakes a little bit, man. I remember just that little nuance. So I could imagine mixing the two and, taking a box against an MMA fighter, they wouldn't have a chance.
I'm glad you brought up slap boxing, man, because I definitely want to. I'm gonna come back around to that. I'm on my last set of this love thrust. What about y'all?
I'm gonna pass on this one. I'm gonna let y'all do the
Takuma said he got enough kids. Overall, I feel like both sports, boxing and MMA, are completely underestimated. Completely underestimated. To step in the ring for 10 rounds is incredible. All right, to step in the ring for 1 round is incredible in boxing. But to get in an octagon and be rolling around with someone who is the same weight as you, and they've trained just as hard as you, and they're just as strong as you, and they're pushing against you pushing, and you got to do that. What MMA fight is like? Is it 3 minutes or 5 minutes? It's 5 minutes, right? To do that for 5 straight minutes. And then and then after y'all roll around and you do all this stuff to keep them off of you and to keep them from keep them from putting you in a hole, and you finally get back up to your feet, he's coming to punch you in your face. You know, that's a whole nother thing, man. You know, that's a whole nother thing. So I would say, one, I feel like people underestimate both sports, but overall, I give the most respect to MMA. I give more respect to MMA than boxing. I feel like it takes a lot more skill. It takes a lot more heart, and it takes a different type of brain. You know, that's my take on it. Mike Tyson is the greatest to ever box, but I'm my favorite MMA fighter. I would say is Anderson Silva, and Mike Tyson outweighs Anderson Silva. I believe they might be about the same weight class, but Anderson Silva would wash Mike Tyson. He will wash Mike Tyson.
I got to segue to that, Takuma, man. So, like, you know, obviously we know that fighting shape and, you know, normal shape are, you know, two different things, of course. So, I mean, do you stay in fighting shape all year? Is that what you do? Or you kind of like, you know, and how difficult would that be if you did? But, you know, like, how do you prepare for these bouts? I mean, you know, it's one of those things. I know you don't want to fall off too much, but, like, if you don't, how far do you kind of slip, you know, from your fighting weight to you know, pretty much get, you know, to get back into shape? If that makes sense.
Very hard for anybody to stay in fighting shape all year round. Just the cardio requirement is high. I mean, you're talking about aerobic and anaerobic conditioning, you know, doing MMA. So I do think that obviously the further out of shape you get, the harder it is going to be to get in shape. So you're kind of hurting yourself if you get too far out. But most people just train, you know, and kind of stay in the gym until they get a camp. And then they get in a camp, they'll up the cardio, they'll up, you know, and make everything more intensely. So you have a great base level, but then obviously things become more intense once you have a fight coming up. It's just too hard. I mean, you're running too much. The VO, you know, trying to push your VO2 max, with all the grappling is very taxing. Just trying to do that year round, you your body up.
What we got next, Dave?
I don't want nothing. I don't want nothing that's under 100. I don't want nothing.